So guys, I don't want to just kill the time. I think you have the question, you have the prompt. Please read those prompts. I create them for people to read, and people do not read. Anyway, if you refer to WhatsApp group, you can see the prompt. It says, many people believe that living a city life offers greater benefits as compared to the countryside. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So, I mean, this is a kind of huge question, but let's talk about it a bit.
Can I go first? Yep.
Yes, go ahead. You are the first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So for me, it's both have some pros and cons because I have lived in a city also. So before COVID, basically. So when I was living there, the life was great. So I had everything available in front of me. So that thing is also great. But right now, I'm in my hometown. I'm in a village. So yeah, also like we can have fresh foods, fresh everything. We can have the nature is great, but the problem is we do not have accessibility to hospitals, schools, colleges, and all of that, and also entertainment. We do not have entertainment that much. But right now, because we live in a like a home work from home situation right now, so that is okay for me to have this kind of setting and also enjoy my life. But yeah, I definitely do not want this for the longest time. I obviously want to go back to city and enjoy my life as well. So yeah.
I see. Okay, good, good. Now I think Dulal wants to talk about it because he looks very thoughtful at the moment.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, yeah, I didn't like in city life, but I live in a countryside. But I like most because the people are so polite and their hospitality good. And city life so jam, so the population problem and rash problems, so many things. So that's why if I compare to do the two things like a village and a city, I will all the time just I will choose village, countryside, because here fresh air, fresh environments, all those things. But one thing is, yeah, people wanna live in the city for maybe some different things, like they wanna do job in a city because they are getting that easily. And their school, college, most of the universities or colleges are available there. So those are these things. By realizing people wanna live in a city, but other than that, if you wanna live in a great life, fresh life, then like village or countryside life is definitely would be perfect.
Fantastic.
It's my point of view. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sometimes also depends on how your upbringing is, because if you like born and brought up in a village or countryside, it's easier for you to adopt there, and it will be really difficult for you to adopt in a city. For example, I born and brought up in a city, so it's really difficult for me to adopt in a countryside place.
Or vice
So
versa.
yeah. So I won't be able to adapt. Like, it's good for a like long short-term stay, but it's not good for a long-term stay.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Everybody's correct as usual. Look, I think Mr. Ken is available. Mr. Clay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I'm from a very small country. Doesn't matter where you are in the UK, you are no more than approximately 100 kilometers from the sea. So actually, the infrastructure, we have a lot of infrastructure, and some of the issues you may have in other countries, we probably don't have in the UK. So the ability to get from A to B is pretty reasonably good. So even if you live in the countryside, you have relatively good access to healthcare, health services. And if you can't get to the hospital, quite often the hospital can come to you. So if I take that out of the equation for the UK anyway, absolutely, I think I've been brought up in cities, in major metropolitan areas, and I think the advantage is the ability to go shopping, the ability to buy milk and bread. So to walk 5 minutes, buy milk and bread, and fruit and veg, everything else. You go into the countryside, and some of the things which I would take for granted become more problematic, become less easy. Can you say less easy? Become less easy. Anyway, they're not as easy. Things are not, and I'm a native.
Yeah,
They're
easier.
not as, they're easier, or not as easy. So the countryside has its advantages. It has clean air, it has greenery, it has animals, it has the wildlife, it has a completely different perspective. And I think if I had the choice, I'd probably like to live more in the countryside, in a small village which has shops, which has a pub, which has a restaurant, which has all the basics I would need.
Like modern village.
Yeah. So I suspect, knowing having traveled around, some places I know that villages might be 100 kilometers from the nearest city, and the hospitals or the facilities might be a lot less sophisticated. So I think it depends on your country.
Yeah,
may determine which is the better place to live in terms of if you want good healthcare, if you want quality education, if you want access to universities close. So I think each country has a different set of parameters which we need to look at to identify the best of both each world.
Yeah, totally correct, as usual. I think, Michael, are you available? Michael is a good speaker. Go ahead. Don't hide yourself.
Thank you very much, Teacher Meysam. Okay. Yeah, to the extent that we want to live in a more comfortable, in a more natural way, I prefer to live in a village, because the thing is, everything there is natural and simple. You will never have any stress there, because even the flow of life is very, very slow. So you're not in rush.
Yeah,
Even
very important. Very
yes,
important.
please. And even the community, the people are very humble. They're not unlike in the city. There's a lot of hustlers there, and there's a lot of hoodlums. So compared to the when it comes to the health, the village place is more comfortable for us, most especially to the aged person. But when it comes to business, and when it comes to an opportunity to develop yourself and to develop your business, the city is the best place, because a lot of opportunity for your business, a lot of connections for you to reach your goal is in the city. So that is the difference between the city and in the village. And in the village, all the natural, and most especially currently we are in the pandemic right now. A lot of people right now goes to village, because in village there is no congestion. Unlike in the city, the crowd is there. So there's a big possibility that we might be infected or inflicted by the virus. But in the city, there's a big area for us to breathe. That's how it is.
Okay, which one is your which one do you prefer?
I prefer the village, of course.
All
Yes,
right.
please.
All right. Okay. So do you live in a village at the moment, or
No,
you prefer to?
that is why I prefer to live the village, because my whole life I'm living in the city, in the capital. So I experienced the living in the capital already. I've seen the disadvantage and the advantage already. But sometimes we do visit our village, so I've seen as well, and I experienced some of the life there, which is really, really natural.
Fantastic. Yeah, very good. I waved at you, Mustafa. How are you? Normally, those people who open their webcams, I try to wave at them, but yeah, I think you didn't see that. Anyway, are you okay?
Okay.
Are you fine?
Yes,
Cool.
I'm okay. Thanks.
That's
How about
amazing.
you?
So
Nice
far,
background, by the way, teacher.
thank you very much. Yeah. So far, so good. So I think you saw the prompt, right, on WhatsApp
Yes,
or whatever. I don't know.
I saw that.
So do you want to talk about it briefly?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, please go ahead.
I believe this idea. I prefer big city like Istanbul for living, teacher, because it has more opportunities.
Yeah.
Another countryside, let's say,
Okay.
for job or another things. Or I believe you can more develop yourself in big city. Okay, that's why.
All right. So you prefer living in a kind of city, like cosmopolitan city like Istanbul? Okay, but
Exactly.
the question is, what about the village?
What about
Don't you think
village?
that village has no positive points at all?
Of course, it has, but it's second, let's say, or less than big
The
city.
city. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you're comfortable and you're okay with it, living with
Exactly.
living in city. Okay. All right. Yeah, Mr. Ken, please. Yeah, go ahead.
I think probably one of the positives of living in a village. Now, we need to, how big is a village? Is it 30, 40, 50 dwellings? Is it 500 dwellings? How do you determine, how do you define within your country what is a village? But leave that apart. I think in terms of a small village in the UK, I think the ability or this situation where you know all of your neighbours know you. Once you've become established, hopefully you will look after each other. You'll have a greater sense of community, a greater sense of belonging.
Trust.
Which I think, you know, is something which in a lot of cities is lost, because places like London, you can get lost. You can blend into the background. So, but I think in a small village or in a small town potentially, so many people know you, and you will know so many people that I think that's an advantage. I think that would be an advantage. Now, going back on something we were talking about, the opportunities that cities have in terms of employment. Obviously, today, with technology, with the internet, with high-speed internet, etc., there is this ability to work from home, and certainly in the UK and obviously in a lot of other countries, that has allowed people to change their lifestyle and potentially think about moving further out of a city so that they go into a more rural area where they can work using high-speed internet. So potentially have the best of both worlds. They're relatively close. I'm talking UK in terms of being able to travel into a city via car, public transport, and have the advantage of being able to go see friends, take advantage of theatres and cinemas and all these things which who live in cities take for granted, but also have the advantage of being able to walk out of their front door into a small village or into the countryside and take advantage of the greenery, the open space, the clean air. So there are a couple of other things I look at when I think of city living and village and or small town living. Again, I refer to the UK because of our small size and our relative closeness to everything. It's where I live, 20 minutes, I'm at another major town, I'm at another major conurbation. So everything is relatively close, but accessible. I can still live in the countryside.
That's true. That's true. Exactly, of course.
Okay, there is a big difference between living in the countryside and vice versa. Like when you are living in the countryside, there is some, we can say, positive things like you can find vegetables. It's available dime a dozen. You can find it easily, and fruits as well. But while you are living in the country itself, everything is expensive. And I guess it's also a bit different. I mean, difficult to get things like what? Just let me think of it. Oh my gosh. Like sometimes you cannot get vegetable fresh, you know? So sometimes you get them not to fresh. This thing is not good according to the country itself. Also, there is another thing which is in the countryside. I feel like it's more, there is no chaos. I mean, there is no noise. But when you live in the country itself, yeah, there is a lot of noise. Okay, let me talk about the advantages in the country. I haven't talked about it yet. Like, you can find everything easily. Like, you can find hospitals, groceries, shops, everything that you need, that some of them you cannot find in the countryside. So we can say there is advantages and disadvantages in both of them. That's my answer.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Very good. I mean, the question is this, actually. I would say, personally speaking, wherever we go, we kind of enjoy it. And after a couple of days or months or whatever, we kind of get bored. Understand? So I would say, normally people, wherever they go, sometimes they cannot take it or leave it, right? For example, here, everybody says, I hate Istanbul. I hate Istanbul. They just go outside of to another city or different countries for a couple of days, and they really miss Istanbul. And they say, oh my God, I miss it. But the question is, why? Do you have the same feelings, the same mentality, guys? Very briefly, please go ahead.
Yeah, because when you are living somewhere, you do not notice the beautiful thing in your country or in your place, right? So I live near the sea. So my friends tell me that, okay, I want to go to your place and I want to enjoy the sea, but I do not see it as like some special thing. It's daily, everyday thing for me. So yeah, that's very relatable.
Okay, very good. Dulal, you are very silent. Do you want to talk about it? Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, yeah. So actually, your voice was breaking up. So could you repeat the question, please?
Oh
if
my!
you don't mind.
I said sometimes people just change their location for different reasons, and then they miss the previous location. Let's say, for example, speaking of Istanbul, people normally say, we hate Istanbul. It's very crowded, blah, blah, blah. So they just go on a holiday for a couple of days. Again, they enjoy it, but they deeply miss Istanbul again.
Yeah.
Those people who were haters, now they are lovers. So the question is, why? Do you have the same feelings?
Actually, So there is a one thing, because the maybe feel boring, some different things. So he don't feel all about things. Just he might don't like just for example, you live in a city, and a city that you are just thinking that I don't like traveling, I don't like anything, noise, something like that. When you're going to any other place, he is missing, because when he live where he live, that place he become massive, that place, the situation, the weather. When they go to the new place, they are to struggle to massive the environment, all other things. So that's why people miss the previous place. Here's my opinion, actually.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, who is next? Very quickly, please.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, please go
I
ahead.
couldn't agree more to you, please. About that. We're gonna miss the capital at first, but the only reason that we miss the capital is because where the activity and the family is, our heart is there. But once the activity moved to the village and the family moved to the village as well, you will at first it will be very hard, and it will take time to get used to that place. But if all of the things, the activity and the heart is there, the family, so you will get used to that, and there's no reason for you to miss it, because all of the reason for you to miss the place is already there in the village. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, interesting. All right. Please go ahead.
I think you made a valid point previous about going on holiday and then realizing you miss where you've come from. And I think quite a lot of people go on holiday and they fall in love with a place, but it's a holiday love. And when they go and live there, they think, oh, I want to live here. And they go there, they stop seeing a place with those holiday rose-tinted spectacles, and they start to see the disadvantages of either a city, a seaside town, the countryside. I think it's very easy initially to become blinded by something which is very different to what you're used to. So if you're used to the hustle and bustle of, in my case, London, your case, Istanbul, but it could be Madrid, it could be New York, it could be whatever.
Of course.
You go away and you relax in the countryside or on a beach resort and you think, wow, this is fantastic. I could live here. But after a few weeks, you suddenly go, it doesn't have the things that I need to maintain the spark of my life. It doesn't have, you know, the theaters, the cinemas, the bars, the restaurants, the museums, just the life that a city has. Or you go to the countryside and you think, actually, yes, I prefer the quiet. I prefer being woken up by birds in the morning singing rather than car horns going off and the noise. And I mean, this is such an interesting subject because it's about your experiences and how your experiences lead you to believe that where you are now is the best place.
That's for you.
As some have said, because they've always lived in the countryside and then potentially moved to a city, then they come back, that their experience has been in the countryside. I think it's when you move from having only one experience, a city dweller like myself, going to the countryside and realizing, or being able to see probably more clearly the massive pros and cons between the two lifestyles, the two environments.
That's amazing. Exactly. I think everybody somehow agrees with you on this topic. But if you want to just add something, guys, very quickly, please, because you were late. I said like at 9, you come after 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. So we lost that 10 minutes. And obviously, I repeat myself every week. Hopefully, on Saturdays, I try to conduct meetings for advanced level today, for example. But tomorrow for all levels, again, you can join. I will share the links, everything. You can also join, but do not expect too much. You know, people from with different levels can join so that it cannot be the same level as today. Anyway, just please, you can add whatever you want to say, and step by step we can end this.
Okay, so I would like to answer the same question that you have just talked about, which is when you move from one place to another, you feel like you're homesick. Is it similar to this one?
Can be.
Okay.
Can
that
be.
That was
yes.
your question, wasn't it? Okay, that's really cool.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, I will speak of this topic. Like when I live in the center of the city, so far of my family. But sometimes when I feel like I have pressure, depression, I want to visit my family. I really miss them, and I want peace of mind. Okay, I need a change of scenery. When I visit my family, 2 days later, then I say, Mom, I want to go to the center. I have had enough. I'm fed up of staying here. She said, okay, but it's just 2 days. What's going on? I said, Mom, I just want to go to there. I miss that. I miss my friends, the places, everything. Here is just a nature. Okay, that's enough. I want to go there. So that's it.
I see. Okay, interesting. Possible, but.
Mr. Teacher Meysam, so do you have any other question today?
No. This is only one question, one prompt. We just talk about it and just we continue. This is only one. Yeah. For advanced level, it is different. What you said is related to the all levels. Different questions, easy questions. But this one is different. Anyway.
Let me add, please.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Like for instance, a lot of Filipinos working abroad, okay, for their family, and they really miss their family because despite that, some of the Filipinos working in the USA, which is the richest country in the world. So the thing is, despite of their luxurious place that we're working right now, they miss the family in the Philippines, which is a humble place. That's the reason why. The reason why we miss some place because of for a purpose, because our loved ones is there. it's not totally the place, but the activity and the loved ones that we are there in the place. So that is why when he go back to the Philippines, sometimes he miss the USA. Why? Because he's working there. But the attachment to his family is more heavier than the work.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why. It's not the place totally, but it's the what we are doing in that one and the loved ones. I believe that's the reason why we miss some
Absolutely.
place.
Totally correct. Yeah, totally. Very good. Final words? Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Teacher Meysam, for this wonderful activity that you have given to
My
us.
pleasure.
It's really
My
helped
pleasure.
us.
Of course, it was really lovely, of course, as usual. We are trying to come up with some good ideas. Again, if you have some good ideas, please send them to me. I can think and we can just talk about it. It doesn't mean that I have to be only the person to just find the topic. You can also find it and just share, and we can talk about it. Anyway, so it was really lovely talking to you guys. Please, next time.
So before finishing our conversation, so let us know simply about you. So which you prefer most, like city life or village life?
For me, I mean,
Yeah.
that is difficult. I want both of them equally. As I said, you should have just understood from my mentality that's why I asked those questions. Like sometimes you say, I want quieter places. I want, a place without a lot of crowd or blah, blah, blah. And you go there and you miss the previous life. You come back there again and again, very complicated. I would say we need to just constantly changing our places so that we can be happy.
We need houses, one in the country, one in the city, so you can go between one and the other,
Yeah,
which will satisfy both needs.
So it would be really great if we can have village privileges in a city center. Really great. I can have a quiet life in a city. To be honest, yeah.
That's true, guys. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves.
So okay.
It is going to stop.
So
it is going to stop.
All right. How many times left we have left?
Less than a minute. Less than a minute. I think it should be
seconds.
A couple of seconds.
A couple of seconds.
Next
okay,
time
nice to talk to you.
on time. Next time on time. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.